many a times, you know, parents fight in front of kids. It happens. I mean, it's unavoidable sometimes. But what is your viewpoint? How can we manage that?
So, you know, I'll probably begin by sharing a story where I was giving a seminar on inner child healing, and there was a parent there who went back to a memory. And the memory was, as a child, you know, sitting around the breakfast table and the parents were fighting. And the child just wanted to disappear. They just wanted the ground to open and be swallowed up, because the trauma of having both parents fighting was so significant. Because the child, number one, blame themselves that they're fighting. Number two, they also make a decision then as well. And the child made a decision that it's bad to fight, it's bad to get angry, I must never fight. So they shut down passion within themselves. And I've seen this happen time and time again when I work with adults. We go back to a past memory, parents are fighting, they make a decision, anger is bad, I'm never going to get angry again. And then they almost have a robotic kind of lifestyle as a result. So I feel the parent must really understand what it was like for them as a child first, and come into that place of empathy. Yes. And so when they're fighting and say the child is there, they have to be really mindful that if the child is there and they're fighting right in front of the child may give that a certain belief system that's negative for the child. Yes. Now, there's also nothing wrong with fighting as well, because fighting is part of a relationship, as in that is also part of the way a couple expresses themselves with each other. And chances are, in a relationship, especially if it's a committed relationship, there is a level of security in that relationship where there's permission to fight with each other. Now, the child doesn't understand that though. Yeah. So if by any chance the parent fights in front of the child, the parent must then have a joint discussion in private alone, work out together how they're going to explain that to the child. Well, they must explain to the child, you know what, mom and dad were fighting, and give them some sort of explanation, if it's not private, as to the reason they were fighting, so the child can understand the child is not to blame.
Yeah, and he feels maybe, yeah, that is one. And that the child feels, yeah, there are disagreements, yeah, and which can be expressed, yes, and that the child is not always the reason for it.
And then also the parent might actually share with the child, you know, a better way for us to have handled that. So give the child the learning that in the moment I just got upset, yeah, because he or she said something, and that's my stuff, yes, and I need to be more mindful. And tell the child, next time you notice me doing that, stop me. Because I'll give you a health warning for parents. The minute the parent will say that to the child will stop the parent. Yeah. And as a parent,
I have witnessed.
Yeah, you have to listen. No, because when I teach kids EFT, yes, they'll go to their parents like, Mama, wo EFT cheese karo, and they'll, you know, touch their clothes, and they'll say, do that stuff when you're getting angry right now, you know, get it sorted, get it handled, and then come back. And so they can say to the child, you know, stop me in my tracks when I'm doing that. Yes. Now also, they can also use that as a springboard for communication with the child. You know, you're going to get angry too. Yes. You know, who did you get angry with? And because chances are they got a sister or a brother, they're fighting too. Yeah. And to give them the understanding that fights happen, and then as a family you can do the tantrum tapping. So I have a parent in Hyderabad where every evening the family gets together with a family meeting, and they talk about what their day was like. They don't do video games, they don't do Sky TV, they don't do, you know, satellite. Instead, they sit as a family, they have a conversation, and each person in the family shares what their day was like, how they felt. And if there was a fight in that day or some kind of disagreement, they do the tantrum tapping together that I showed you earlier.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow,
as a family.
That's a good one.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. I remember whenever I get angry, and you know, I have taught my son to breathe in nice and deep. You know, so when I'm very angry with him, when he's not completed his homework, he'll say, Mama, take some few deep breaths. I'm like so angry with him. I'm like, this is not the time to take deep breaths. You know, I want to get angry. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's okay to know that you want to get angry, like as a parent.
Exactly.
And sometimes you can say to the child, you know, Mama just needs to get angry right now, and it's not at you. Yeah. I just need to get angry. Just give me 3 minutes. I'm going to get angry and come back. And sometimes I'm going to bring the pillow back in. Sometimes what I recommend is the parent goes to the bedroom, closes the door privately and, you know, either bangs the pillow and like gets all the anger out, or squashes the pillow like really tight, like just get all the anger, all the irritation out and squash it, or says to the kid, you know what, let's all get our anger out. And they're in the living room, they get all the pillows, they sit together, they like squash it together, you know how I do it in seminars, I'm like just beat the pillow, because it just allows it out, because better out than in, because chances are the parent loves the child, and chances are
most often the parent loves the child.
Yeah, and chances are though it's not really angry because of what the child did. Chances are gussa andar mein already hai.
The child just triggered.
That's it, just a button got pushed. So the parent must also forgive themselves.
Yeah.
And the child will push the buttons more than anybody else. So will the spouse or the partner. These people know the buttons that exist.
Yeah.
And that's all. A button got pushed and woomph, the anger came out. And so the parent can become more conscious also that dekho mera button push ho raha hai, and they can have a training between the child and the parent, dekho mera button, and they can joke about it.
Yeah.
Mera button push kiya, and the child can also say, Mama, you just pushed my button, Dad, you just pushed my button.
And it's a nice way to become more mindful about what you're feeling.
Correct.
And conveying and expressing it out.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I don't want to eliminate fights, because that's not healthy, you know.
Yes.
I don't want to eliminate expression of emotion, because that's not healthy. Because if you have a muted kind of robotic family, you've taught the child something else now, which is very unhealthy.
We were speaking to Dr. Rangana Rupavi Chaudhari, who is an international speaker on EFT and matrix reimprinting and many other things. Stay tuned to my channel and let's grow together and learn together. Thank you.